Welcome on in, my wonderful Ashwings, to a episode where we play Commoner. That's right, I'm trying to keep the spread here where we get Commoner, Clash, and Classic Constructed, the four C's, three C's, and that's where we're going to put a big focus on the channel. So I'm hoping to get more content out for you guys here for Commoner. And I wanted to talk a little bit about a deck that I built on stream a little while ago for Terra. Now, Terra is a hero that you can only buy in the First Strike decks. So if you have not gotten a First Strike deck yet for Terra, go ahead and pick one up. They're like 11 bucks. And they come with a few goodies, but Civic Steps is probably going to be the hardest thing you're going to be able to find. Well, it's not going to be hard to find it, but it's going to be the most expensive part of the deck. Because Civic Steps is only found in the Round the Table product, and it is a little pricey comparative to other things. It's about $5, $5.50. So theoretically, that bumps it up to about 20 bucks, but not the end of the world. Like I said, this is a pretty straightforward deck, and a lot of it is just bulk that you've seen in previous things. So what I wanted to do is kind of quickly talk over the deck and then get into a game, show you guys a little bit about what this does. So Terra is at the beginning of each end phase. If there is an Earth card in your pitch zone, you may pay a resource, and if you do, create a Might token. So in this instance, you want to be able to make sure that you're making a Might token at the end of every single one of your turns. This is important because a good portion of the cards in your deck care about you having additional power than your base, and a Might token will do exactly that. So that's big stuff there. Our weapon, we are running Sledge of Anvilheim. Pretty much nothing else, if I recall. Yeah, we're running Sledge. I've taken out. This needs to be taken out because I don't need it. I can add in that concuss. Actually, we're just gonna do this live because I know I'm not running Titan's Fist anymore. So we're gonna run another blue concuss. There we go, into the inventory. And so we just AB3 whenever we're going against a wizard. We add in this Arcane Polarity and another concuss. That's blue. And that's pretty much all we do in that situation. But we've got Sledge of Anvilheim, incredibly powerful hammer. If you've got 2 cards in hand, you can swing hammer. And that's perfect, right? If you're 2 cards in hand, you can't like quite make work. You know, it's a 4-cost card and you can't play it. You just pitch a blue and a red, or 2 blues, and then swing Sledge. You're in a good spot. Additionally, we have Helm of Eisen's Peak, which is incredibly good if you're just trying to like block out and then get a pretty good hand for on a turn that they've set up, because if you destroy it, you get a additional intellect until the end of turn. So if you need 5 cards in hand instead of 4 because your opponent's probably setting up for a pretty big kill turn, Helm of Eisen's Peak is going to be a great way to utilize that card in your hand. Heart and Crossstrap and Goliath Gauntlet go together like peanut butter and jelly. Effectively, you're going to break this to make one of your cards cost less, and you're going to break this to have it attack for more. So this also triggers a lot of the cards in your deck, again, like I said, like Concuss, where if it hits a hero, if it has power greater than its base, they discard a card. So simply popping a Goliath Gauntlet and attacking with a Concuss gives you that option of, if it does hit, and even if you get 1 point of damage off, they have to discard a card. So it becomes a block with your entire hand situation, and not so much a, I'll just block a little bit and then be fine. So that's Goliath Gauntlet. Civic Steps is here. It's kind of the best foot piece for Guardian as of right now, but the thing with this is that it does give your opponent a Quicken token when it defends. Now, in most cases, if you're going against another hero, that hero probably already has Go Again on their cards, but sometimes they don't. And when they don't, giving them a Quicken token is a real feels bad. So you definitely want to make sure that when you're playing against another Guardian, like Civic Steps is good, but it might not be the best. But Civic Steps also, like, it's a give and take, right? The Quicken token, you'll learn how that all works and how it functions well into the set. We're running the Rainbow of Autumn's Touch, so this is just a 7, 6, and 5 for 3 respectively. This is really, really good just because this is going to be one of those cards you're pitching. Most of the Earth cards in your deck are blue pitch cards, and so you're effectively just going to have your yellows, your blues. They're going to be strong Earth cards to pitch on your turn, so that way you can guarantee to make that might with that resource. We're running Cadaverous Tilling just because if we get those Earth cards in the Banish Zone, we can still come in for a 3 for 8. Very powerful. Concuss, of course, gets to discard a card if it's got more power than its base. We have Crush Confidence. If it deals 4 or more damage to a hero, they lose all card effects and activated abilities until the end of the next turn. So pretty much shuts off their hero power and then any activated abilities they have. Crush the Weak is great into aggro because a lot of their stuff, like ninjas, a lot of their attacks will have 3 or less base power. And this is a great way for you to shut them down and just say, hey, I'm going to pump this up by a lot, have it come in for like 10. And if you don't block with your whole hand, essentially, you're going to get hit with the crush effect. And it's going to be a problem. We are running the Rainbow of Earthlore Surge. Again, this is kind of a nice pump. You pay 2 to get your next attack action card. It's +5 from the red, +4 from the yellow, and then +3 from the blue. So again, you're going to be keeping the blues kind of for pitching, but at the end of the game, it's at least a nice pump for where you can come in with some other cards here. Fate Foreseen, obviously for good blocking. Sink for good blocking. Pummels are for when you need to get over your opponent's blocks. Let's say your opponent's playing a Guardian and they also block really well. You can go ahead and play Pummel, and it will just absolutely devastate them. Strong Yield, a great Earth card. Effectively, it's just a way for you to set up for your next turn, so you get +3. And then more importantly, the main card in the deck here is Thump. So with Thump, even if its base power is, as long as its base power is greater than its base, it has Dominate, and if this hits a hero, they discard a card, and it's essentially a pummel effect, right? The important thing about Thump is that even if it's just got the +1 from the Might token, this will have Dominate. So unless your opponent has a D-React and Arsenal already, it will have Dominate. And if this hits, and you have enough resources to come in with a pummel afterwards as well, you're getting 2 cards from their hand, significantly disrupting their turn, and that's what you want. That's what you want to see. So Thump is a great way for you to both disrupt and also end the game because it's got that Dominate keyword. And then you have Fruits of the Forest in blue, which of course you can discard to gain 2 life if you wanted to do that. And then you also have Macho Grande blue, which unless you have an all blue hand in this card in Arsenal, you probably don't really need to play it. It's good for blocking, though, and it at least comes in for 8 Dominate, so it's another good game ender if you need that. And then, of course, we talked about our sideboard package, effectively swapping everything out here, going ahead and getting rid of something like you're getting rid of your boots, your gloves, and your headpiece, just keeping your chest piece there. And then you're effectively just going, okay, cool. You'll get rid of something like Crush the Weak for Concuss, and then you're going to get rid of, you actually probably want to get rid of, if you're going against wizards, depending on the wizard, you're going to want to get rid of maybe Crush the Weak and then Fate Foreseen. That way you can go ahead and get both of these in there. Some wizards do run attack actions, so playing Sink Below is fine. But if you know the opponent is on Kano and they're not on Icelander, then you could probably take out both the Sink Below and the Fate Foreseen for these here, and you'll be set to go. So that's the deck. Let's go ahead and bring it into the commoner queue on Talishar and see how we fare against our opponent. If you enjoy this content and wish to support the channel, consider becoming a channel member. Channel members get access to our podcast, The Common Language, a week earlier than other subscribers, as well as emotes, loyalty badges, and any other special member-only content I decide to make. Channel members will also be eligible for special channel member giveaways, so stay tuned for your chance to enter. I thank you all so much for considering to support my endeavors in the creator space for this wonderful TCG, and I hope you all continue to have fun in the flesh and blood. Back to the video. All right, it looks like our opponent is Enigma. So in our case here, we don't need to swap anything over there. They're not going to do Arcane to us. And we don't really need any additional blues. So I think we're pretty good with what we have. We're just going to submit our deck and make it happen. So this is Reality Refractor Enigma. A lot of this is just going to be based around playing a Spectral Shield, attacking with a Spectral Shield for like 6 or 7 or 8, depending on the +1 counters. And then moving on from there. There's a Single-Minded Determination. And they get the end to turn because that's just a action. I am actually going to do this here. I'm going to gain 2 life, which will be incredibly effective in the overall scheme of things. All right, and so we have a thump. In a situation like this, we could very much so come in with a... Pummel here is kind of nice, but we want to come in with probably a Crush the Weak into keeping the Fate Foreseen in Arsenal. I don't know, it's an interesting place here. Because I could break this and thump, but we could also just this, right? Yeah, let's say... So come in for 7. That's fine. Just attack for 6. You do get the Findel's Fighting Spirit trigger, which is a very interesting thing to see in this deck. There's a Wave of Reality gonna hit. All right, and then we'll just put this into Arsenal. They're only gonna be able to attack with one of these things unless they give it go again, so we'll see here. I am going to, I think in this situation... We could Crush here. It's on top. A Sink below, bottom that. And then I just take a little bit. That's fine. Okay. I think we're also still in a pretty good spot to even just do that again. Just send 6. So we're not running into too many blues, but that's fine. You can't play Spectral Manifestations because you do have a Spectral Shield. So let's come in for 6. Yeah. So let's go ahead and just block here. And then we're also going to block with our Sink below. We'll get rid of a Strong Yield, I think. Okay. So we know they had the Spectral Manifestations. Let's just go ahead and... How do we want to do this here? Because we could also pitch... No, we're still running into problems where we're not getting enough what we want. Let's see. Let's go ahead and just... You know, we're just going to slam a Crush the Weak. That's fine. I think that'll be okay. Because they won't have to deal with the Crush stuff, but they're blocking 2. They're blocking... Oh. Because they expect the pummel. Good for you. There's no pummel. So. I do want to create 1 might. I want to put this in there to create a might. And then we're going to Arsenal this card. That's kind of good. We don't have 2 Earth cards in grave. We can have 2 Earth cards in grave. Let's see. Now we could pummel this Cadaverous Tilling if we block here. I think that might be fine. Because this is all they're doing really is this, and then they're coming in for 5. So we'll get some block value here, I guess. I feel like I maybe didn't need to block. I should have blocked more on a turn like that, but it's okay. We are going to... Oh, you know what? And it's because... That's why I thought, because this was the case. We're going to... We're going to play Autumn's Touch. We are going to pitch 3. He's going to come in for 8. And we're going to assume they're going to have the D-React, but we're going to need to make them pay it, so. Okay. I guess they had to have had the D-Reacts. Ah. 2? That's actually not good for you. So we're going to discard a Chi? It's pretty good, actually. Okay. So worst case scenario, you pitch that, play Spectral, 1 float, coming for 8. That's pretty good, actually. That do be pretty good, I would say. We'll block 6 here. Yeah, that's crazy talk. I'm just going to go ahead and maybe we just send Sledge. Save cards in our deck. Cool, that doesn't get the trigger. D-React. So they still get to attack me for 8. I feel like this is the problem here, is that we run into a problem where they get to just keep attacking for 8. And that's pretty good. We'll just do this and this. I think I might just come in for Arsenal that there. Blam, blam. I don't get to make a Might token, unfortunately. Okay. That's crazy. So we could probably keep the Thump. But we'd have to block poorly here. So take 2 more. It's definitely one of these situations where I don't know that we're like in a good spot. So we see whether or not they have anything in the zone there. They do. So that's on me then. It's unfortunately not enough that I can handle here, but that's just Enigma. Enigma just does really, really well. And Earth cards block for 2. So but that's okay. Like I said, the Enigma's kind of a meta deck. So being able to do a bunch of other stuff, I'm curious if they're going to come in with something more powerful. And that's the other downside, is that at this point, they're not losing any cards. So it's like incredibly impactful to their game plan that this is happening. Yeah, that's good. I lose to this. I lose to that. That's okay. Good game. It was a good time to keep a popper, but it's not anything I can do, so. We'll see. We'll see how far we can go, but I don't think that we're expecting much. Just because, again, this could be their whole game plan, is just like keep pitching. They've got blue sync belows and everything. That's crazy. All right. Bam. We can swing, what do you call it? We can swing that. We can submit the opt. So they have to block. Okay, so they're going to make special shields. I caught them on a turn with no, I caught them on a turn with no blocks, which is kind of interesting. Okay, so that will ward 5. Yeah, that'll block all 5. So There we go. The rest is history now. It's just blocking out effectively. So we're not going to be able to get a go again on here. This will come in for 8. So 3, 6. We can arsenal card, or we can do this. 5 card hand, pretty good. Ooh, a popper. That's good. That is good to know that you have that. Let's go ahead and block. See, now we have a lot of reds in our hand. Curious how that happened. How did we have that happen? Well, we have to block with more than that. So we'd have to block like this. Let's go ahead and get strong yield. Okay. So not really anything, but this is the weird, like, flailing of the game where, like, they're able to just, like, make a whole bunch of stuff. You didn't need to do all that. You didn't need to sink below. Yeah. Let's see. This is... I have to block with everything. No, I'll just concede. I don't need to do all that. We'll be good. We'll be good. I don't mind conceding in that situation because I think the writing was on the wall. And I normally will just, like, I don't want to waste anybody else's time, let alone my own. But most of my deck was just a bunch of 2 blocks and 3 blocks, and the rest of their game was just attack for 8, attack for 8, attack for 8, attack for 8 until I die. So, but that's okay. Like I said, Illusionist tends to do pretty good into Guardian, especially when these guys don't have anything like Phantasm. Right? I think that's something that makes Enigma really, really good into the commoner format, is because the way she attacks is not impeded by the thing that normally ruins Illusionist. For instance, when you're playing Dromai and you attack with a dragon, the dragon has Phantasm. When you are playing with Prism and you attack with the Herald, that Herald has Phantasm. Whereas in Enigma, you have cards that have Phantasm, such as Phantasmal Haze. I know there were some other cards in here, Coalescence Mirage, Enigma Chimera, Spectral Prowler, but there comes a point in which these cards are all just blue 3 blocks in the deck, and the rest of it just becomes, can I get Spectral Manifestations out? And it turns out that that was the perfect time for it. I probably could have waited on my chest and my arm piece and played something like a red thump instead, but I decided to go for a blue thump to try and apply pressure. Didn't end up working out for me, but that's okay. Like I said, that's how games work. But thank you to my opponent for showing me the Enigma way. I know this is essentially a Guardian in Commoner. So Enigma is a very, very fun hero to play if you're not familiar with her playstyle. Definitely something to check out, but at least we know that in a world in which we're not flailing at the end of our turn, at least our first couple of turns are send sledge, send sledge, send sledge, and then we had some pummel set up. We'll go ahead and we'll just do some double checking and we'll see what the math is. But if you guys have any specific changes you would think you'd make to this deck to maybe be a little bit better into the Enigma matchup, feel free to go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. I'd be more than happy to entertain those ideas and maybe even see those changes be made on the next time we play Terra. But regardless, I hope you had a fantastic time watching today's video. Make sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And I hope you continue to have fun in the flesh and blood. I will see all of you beautiful Ashwings in our next video.